بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum once again, guys, and welcome to another section of Surah Attaghabun, analysis of Surah Attaghabun. And today we're looking at ayah number 10 to 12, the Nahw and the Sarf of it. Okay, so it's not very, again, the ayat are very easy, very simple. Maybe one or two concepts that we might have to go deeper on, but most of the time it's just basic jumla ismiya, jumla fi'liya structures. Maybe a little bit of taqdeem here, muqaddam, mu'akhar concepts. But other than that, and maybe a few other concepts that maybe we covered in advanced Nahw or advanced structures, most of this surah is actually very easy. A surah, very easy vocabulary, very straightforward grammar and sarf. Okay. So Sultana, you're with me today? Great. Who else wants to participate? If you want, please raise your hand so that I can know how to divide this. If not, me and Sultana, we have this. Inshallah. Okay, great. We can begin. So we have the ayah number 10. والذين كفروا وكذبوا بآياتنا أولئك أصحاب النار خالدين فيها وبئس المصير.
This is Jumla Ismiya, Waw Harfat.
So Jumla Ismiya?
Lazina
Yes.
Yeah, Jumla Ismiya.
Okay, so this is Harf Atuf.
Harfat. Al-Lazina, it is Ism Mawsul. Which will form a Mubtada.
Yes. So this is going to be our Mubtada. And it's the Ism Mawsul.
Mawsul, and this is Silatul Mawsul. Kafaru.
Kafaru is Silatul Mawsul.
Silatul Mawsul. And Fi'l Madi. Hum Zamir Fa'il.
So the inside doer pronoun hum.
Inside doer. Hum. Then Waw is Atf again.
Yes.
It's Atfan. Okay, Kadhabu. This is again Mazi. Fi'l Madi. Again, yeah, Hum Zamir Fa'il. So, Kadhabu. Then Ba Harf Jar. Ayatina, this is Muzaf Muzafile, which again becomes majroor because of Ba Harf Jar.
Exactly.
So this will be Mutaliq bil Qabr.
Mutaliq?
Kazabu bi ayatina. Okay, so this is
كذبوا بآياتنا.
بآياتنا. So this is متعلق بالفعل كذبوا.
Yeah. Yes. So بالفعل. Or you can actually, when you look at the books, they will say متعلق بكذبوا. بكذبوا. Sometimes they'll do that. Or they will just say متعلق بالفعل. It's fine. Okay. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. الذين is a mubtada. And then, of course, الذين is ism mawsul, comes with a silatul mawsul. The silatul mawsul starts from kafaru, goes all the way to بآياتنا. So, which means this whole thing still a mubtada. Mubtada bucket. Good. Right.
So ulaika, so this is khabar.
Is it?
Khabar. Ulaika ashabun biatina. Ulaika ashabun nar.
So there are two ways of looking at something like this. So normally when we have so we have this is our mubtada one, or basically this is our mubtada. Okay. Then when you have ulaika, we can say now this whole thing, or when you have a pronoun, we can say the whole thing could be the khabar of the first mubtada. That's one way of looking at it. Okay, the whole thing. Or we can say this is our mubtada one, and then ulaika is mubtada two, and then ashabun nar becomes our khabar. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So two ways in which we can. It's the same meaning. It doesn't change the meaning. So you would see in most Arab books, they would say this is mubtada, this is also mubtada. In other words, this is mubtada one, this is mubtada two. Okay. And then
so this is the badal, like, sister, the whole jumla, the previous jumla. It is in that way. It is giving the detail of the previous one. Ulaika.
It's not exactly a badal. I don't think it qualifies as a badal. I have to think about that. I'm not so sure, but normally we just do mubtada 1, mubtada 2.
Ji. Because I thought ulaika will be So again, I thought here ulaika will be mubtada, ashabun nari khalidina fihi will be khabar. This again will form the khabar for this allazina kafaru wa kadhabu bi ayatina.
Yes, that's one way of looking at it. Yes, you can look at it like that. You can say this is one bucket mubtada, and this is one bucket khabar. And inside the khabar, we have mubtada again and khabar.
And the khabar. Ji.
So in other words, what you end up with is mubtada, mubtada, khabar, right? Whether you say that this whole thing is khabar or whether you say that this is mubtada, you still end up with the same thing, because you will still say this is mubtada, you will still say this is mubtada, and then you will say this is khabar. Is that clear?
Ji.
Yeah. So either way, it's fine. But when you go inside the sentence, of course, now ulaika becomes mubtada. But the whole thing is going to be khabar.
Khabar. Ji.
So this is
ulaika, this is mubtada. Ulaika ashabun nari. So this is muzaf ilay. Khalidina fiha wa bi khalidina fiha. So this is khabar.
Yes. So this is khabar of ulaika.
So
of course,
this will be the hal. Khalidina will be the hal.
Yes. So khalidina is the hal. Is the hal of who? Who is the sahib
of the ashabun nar. Ashabun nar.
Yes.
Which is again going back to the ulaika itself.
Exactly.
And again, which is going back to the ism mawsul.
Yeah. Exactly. Alladhina kafaru.
Fiha jar majroor.
Which makes it.
So this is mutaliq bil khabar.
Yes, mutaliq. Yeah, you can say mutaliq bil khabar, or even in some books you'd see that mutaliqani bi khalidina, because it comes with khalidina. It's actually attached to khalidina. So mutaliqani bil khabar or bi khalidina. That's fine.
Waw is atf.
So this could be atuf, could be isti'naf. Again, it depends on how you look at a sentence. So I checked, because remember when we discussed atuf, we say you attached a fi'l to a jumla fi'liya to a jumla fi'liya and a jumla ismiya to a jumla ismiya. That is the normal. That is basically what is supposed to happen. Although some grammarians say you can do atuf a jumla fi'liya to a jumla ismiya, but it is not encouraged. It's not encouraged, even though some people say it's okay. But I think it doesn't make any sense to me personally. But what do I know? Like, we can say it's atuf or we can say it's the enough. Either way, yeah, it's fine.
So the bisa, this is fi'l zam.
Yes, fi'l dham, fi'l madi, jamid.
Mazi. It is madi.
This is madi lidham, we can say. And we talked about this when we did Attaghabun, maybe just for revision purposes. One of those concepts that we need to remind ourselves. When we talked about Attaghabun, we said there are two templates for Attaghabun, ma af'alahu and af'al bihi. But we also covered two other things that we called madh and dham. Af'alul madh and af'alul dham. So the fi'ls of praise, which are af'alul madh, to praise, and then af'alul dham, the fi'ls to humiliate or bring down or things like that. So bi'sa is a fi'l dham. Okay. And maybe just another thing we mentioned about this af'al, these fi'ls of humiliating and praising, there are three parts to it. Okay, so you need to remember that there are three parts to this sighatul madh wa dham. Okay, there is the fi'l itself, which could be bi'sa or ni'ma. So there's the fi'l, and it's always fi'l madi. And then you have the fa'il. You will have the fa'il, it's going to be marfu', it's going to be after it. Then you have the makhsus bidham, the thing that is being given that attribute. Okay, the thing that is being given that attribute, al-makhsus bidham. So there are three parts to that. Okay, just a reminder. So what do you think, Sultana? Al-masir, which part is it?
It is that, right? It's maksud, the place. It's saying
but
about
it's coming with bi'sa. So when it comes with bi'sa, we said this structure has three parts. So you have the fi'l al-dhamm, you have the fa'il, and then you have the makhsus bidhamm. Those are the three parts. What do you think
So
al-masir
this
is?
should be 5. This should be 5.
Yes, this is fa'il. This is the fa'il,
5.
bi'sa. Yeah, so that's how we'll do it. Okay. And in that case, then the makhsus, the thing that is being given this attribute or this quality is mahdhuf, but is understood. Because we know what are we talking about? Ashabun nar. We're talking about an-nar. Bi'sa al-masiru here. The makhsus would be here, or bi'sa al-masiru an-nar. So the makhsus, the thing that is being given the attribute of being bi'sa, of being horrible, being terrible, is the fire. It goes back to the fire, but it's understood without being said.
So mahzuf will be an-nar.
Yes. An-nar, or here, the pronoun going back to an-nar.
An-nar.
Any questions there? Or is that clear for everybody? So that was just a small revision on bi'sa and ni'mah in that sense. And that's basically ayah number 10. Really, again, not heavy grammar, not heavy sarf going on. On sarf part, I only pick new words. So words that we've already covered before, for example, like kafaru, we've already covered it before. We're not going to cover it again. So we're just going to cover the new words that are coming up. Okay, so if you want to see the sarf of the previous words, you can check the previous episodes, inshallah. And at the end, I will share this document where I've basically done everything for you. So you can check this document way later, inshallah. Okay, so let's go back to this. So sarf, we only have one word, which is kadhabu.
Kadhaba. Kadhaba. So this is from family 2. Kadhaba yukadhibu. Takziban. Sigha, this is fi'l madi.
Yes.
Jama. So sarf saghir. Kadhaba yukadhibu. Takziban. Takziban. Matlab jhutlana, that is to say.
To reject or
reject or disbelieved, denied.
Deny.
Denied.
So we have
kabir,
kadhaba.
it is kadhaba, kadhaba, kadhabu. So that is the sigha which is needed.
Yes, we found it.
So mani is version. Denied.
Yes. Okay. So basically, that is it. Or kadhabu, we can actually say they, because it's hum version. So they denied or they rejected. All right. Then we go to the next ayah, ayah number 11, inshallah.
So this is jumla failure. So ma is ma nafi.
Yes.
Ma nafiya, because it is coming with illa.
Exactly. So maybe we can spend a few minutes there. So when you come across a ma, you know we covered, I think, about 10 different kinds of ma when we did our episode on the kinds of ma. So the first question you need to ask yourself, what kind of a ma is it? And there are shortcuts. We talked about the different shortcuts. How do you know this is ma nafiya? How do you know this is ma masdariya? How do you know this is ma mawsula? And so on and so forth. All the 10 different kinds of ma. And if it's, first of all, I think once you figure out, you ask yourself, is it ma harfiya or ma ismiya? Because if it's ma harfiya, if it's an harf, then la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. You cannot say this is mubtada khabar. It's a harf. So it's harf. You leave it alone. But if it's ma ismiya, then it can be a mubtada, or it can be a maf'ul bihi if it's if it's istifhamiya, you know. So you have to figure out, is it harf or is it ism? And in this case, of course, it's a harf. Yeah.
Harf.
So we leave it alone. There's nothing happening there.
Asaba. So this is fi'l madi. Family 4. Asaba yusibu.
Yes.
Huwa zamir. It can be huwa zamir mustatir. Yeah, even min musibatin, it looks like fa'il for.
Exactly. So whenever we have huwa version, we look outside and see, is there something that looks like a fa'il? There's something that is rafa. But then somebody would ask you, but what about this min?
Zaida.
Ah, there we
This is
go.
min zaida.
This is min zaida, because if you remove it, ma asaba musibatun. Ma asaba musibatun, it makes sense. So if you remove the
Yeah.
min, the meaning is still there, nothing. So it tells you that this min is min zaida. And it just adds emphasis to the kind of musiba, any kind of musiba, basically. That's the stress there. So this one we would say this is the fa'il.
Musibatun. So fa'il.
Yeah. And it's majroor lafdan, but it's marfu
Lafzan.
mahallan.
Marfu mahlan.
Exactly. Basically what that means is fi mahalli rafa. For those of you who maybe are not familiar with that terminology, it's fi mahalli rafa. Yeah. Okay. Then we have illa.
Illa istanafia. Sorry, this
Yes.
illa istana.
Yeah. Istinaf. No, sorry. Istithna. Not istinaf.
Mustasna. This is
أداة استثناء أو حرف استثناء. Or you can also call
istisna.
it, yes, you can also call it أداة حصر
Hasar.
or حرف حصر. So it has two names. Either it's استثناء to select or to make exception. So أداة استثناء or حرف استثناء, or أداة حصر. And basically it means except. Right. And then we have بإذن الله.
بإذن الله. بحرف جر. إذني is مضاف. الله is مضاف إليه.
Hello.
Is there a question? Yes.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Can you write the word on the screen? Istithna.
Okay. Yeah, I can write it for you. So this is istith from istithna. There. Istithna. Okay. All right. So bi'idhnillahi, what do you think? What is bi'idhnillahi?
بإذن الله جار مجرور بحرف جر. إذني is مضاف. الله is مضاف مضاف إليه. The total it is getting مجرور because of حرف جر با. Which is متعلق بالفعل أصابة.
بالفعل. Beautiful. بالفعل أصابة. So how do we know that it is متعلق بالفعل? Basically, let me give you a simple, easy way. When you're looking at this template, ma plus illa, or la plus illa. When you're looking at this template, negation with illa. Yeah, negation with exception. When you have this template and you want to understand the Nahw, you want to understand what is happening, the grammatical labeling of each, remove these two things. Just remove them from the sentence. So, asaba min musibatin bi'idhnillahi. Think of it like that. So when you remove the negation and the exception, you have asaba min musibatin. So you can clearly see this is your outside dua. Bi'idhnillahi. Bi'idhnillahi is muta'alliq to asaba. When you just look at it as a normal jumla fi'liya, then you can actually see the grammatical labeling very clearly. I know this one can, these two, they confuse people because they're like, okay, so what illa? And illa has also its rules, because what comes after it, is it mustathna minhu? Is it an exception? So should it be nasab? A lot of questions, but forget about that. Just remove it from the sentence. Remove ma, remove illa, and ask yourself, okay, so I have my fi'il is here, my fa'il is here, so this is definitely my muta'alliq bil fi'il. That's kind of how you understand that in a very simple, easy way. And again, we will see that when it comes to ayah number 13, inshallah, how that whole comes, the grammar, how it comes, inshallah. Any questions to that? Okay, great. Then we have wa.
Waw is harfat.
Yeah.
So man yumin. So this will be jumla ismiya. Man will be ism. This is ism shart.
Ism shart.
Shartiya.
Yeah. And it makes two fi'als.
It makes the mudare majzum. Two things majzum.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
yumin is majzum.
Amana
yuminu. So it was yumin. Fele mudare.
Yes, but what is it? It's the fi'al shart of man, right?
Man, yeah.
So fi'al shart, and it's of course mudari'.
Mudare. Majzum.
And who's the doer?
Huwa zamir. Huwa zamir. Mustatir is the file. Billahi,
space.
it is ba harf jar. Hurf Allah. Allahu ismul jalala is majroor because of harf jar.
Yes.
Which is mutaliq bil fail yumin.
Yes. This is muta'alliqani. We'll say that. The rest of the details you can fill up. So, then we have yahdi.
Yahdi is fail mudari, which is majzoom because of jawab shart.
Yes. So this is our fi'al jawab. Bi man, which is the ism shart.
Which is majzoom. And huwa zamir mustatir is the file.
And how do we know that it's majzoom?
Because of ya, which has been dropped.
Exactly. Yeah. So somebody might look at this and say, Yahdi, this is the majroor. Why are you saying majzoom? You know, it's because it was supposed to be Yahdi. But then, because we made it majzoom, because of man, the ya dropped. This is naqis, revision of naqis there. Okay. Qalbahu.
Qalbahu, this is muzaf ilay, and this is maf'ul bihi for ihdi.
Yes, this is the maf'ul bihi for ihdi. For yahdi, basically. Yeah.
The failu shart along with the jawabu shart will form the khabar for mubtada.
Yes.
Ismu shart.
So this whole thing is the khabar.
Khabar.
Yeah. Khabar man.
Man.
So you see something probably in the books, you see wal jumla yu'minu
billahi yahdi qalbahu.
Yes. Something like that. So you see probably something like that when you're reading the tafsir of this ayah. So this whole sentence is going to be the khabar of man. Is that clear? Maybe I should even write here mubtada. So that it's, yeah, something like that. Okay.
What is harfat?
Yeah, another harf atuf or harf istiqnaf, depending on how you look at it.
Allahu ismul jalala mubtada. B harf jar. Kulli shayin muzaf ilay is majroor because of harf jar B, which is mutaliq bil khabar. متعلق بالخبر.
Yes, متعلق بالخبر مقدم.
خبر مقدم. عليم is خبر.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Alim is the khabar. So here the only thing that maybe you need to watch out when you're understanding the ayah is bikulli is muqaddam, and therefore there has to be ikhtisas. There has to be some special meaning of only that comes there. Wallahu bikulli shay'in alim. And Allah, especially over everything, or He is knowledgeable, or Alim, He is knowing.
All knowing.
Yeah, all knowing. All right. Okay, so again, yes, we only have asaba here.
Swad, waw, ba is the jizr of it. Swad, waw, ba. So bab, it is family, and this is a madi, family 4.
This is madi.
Siga is a fail madi. Sarf saghir is asaba, yusibu, isabatan. Asaba, yusibu, isabatan. So Sarf Kabir is Asaba, which is the first Siga itself.
Yes. We have Asaba, and then we have Asaba.
Asaba, Asabu.
Asabu.
So Mane is it strikes or it reaches.
To strike or to hit the target.
Strikes. It hits. Because it is first Siga. So it hits or it targets.
Yeah. Good. Any questions on that one? Okay, great. So we're going to go to the last ayah. Today is going to be a very short session, inshallah. Yes? يلا.
जी واو حرف عطف.
Okay. So, wow, عطف. Again, the way you, depending on how you understand the grammar, it could be عطف or it could be استئناف, depending on what you're linking it to.
يطيع. So أتى يطيع, this is فعل أمر. أطيعوا from family 4. أطيعوا. So هم so أنتم ضمير is the file.
أنتم.
जी
Yeah,
أنتم.
because it's أمر.
أمر. الله it is اسم الجلالة. مفعول به for أطيعوا. So واو is again a حرف عطف.
Yes.
Same. أطيعوا is again فعل أمر.
Yeah.
أنتم ضمير is the file and الرسول is مفعول به for أطيعوا.
Exactly. So we're just gonna copy paste that one there. Like that. Then we have, okay, wait, وأطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول فإن توليتم.
So this is عطف again. عطف.
So now we have to ask ourselves, we have to be careful when it comes to fa. Wow, most of the time it's going to be عطف. So we need, when we discuss the different kinds of fa, I think we mentioned 8 different kinds of fa. So we have to ask ourselves, which one is it? If it's atuf, remember atuf shows the order of things. Like for example, if I say دخل أحمد فمحمد, Ahmad entered, then Muhammad. So one after the other. That's what fa atuf does. Okay. So if I say وأطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول فإن توليتم as atuf, then I'm saying obey Allah, obey the messenger. Then after that, توليتم. It doesn't make sense. See, if it's atuf, it's okay for him, no problem. We share the recording. So it doesn't make sense as atuf. So we leave atuf. We go to another kind of fa. What other kind of fa do you know?
So talilia fa. It gives the reasoning. One more. So that.
So we ask ourselves, does that also make sense? أطيعوا الله, obey Allah, obey the messenger, so that if you turn away, or because if you turn away, doesn't make sense. Again, which one do you know? Which one again do you remember? Shartiya. Fa shartiya? There's no fa shartiya. In is shartiya. In is shartiya. Or you're meaning fa that comes with shart. Fa ar-rabita is called. Fa ar-rabita. Or fa jawabu shart. I think that's what you meant.
Rabita. Fa rabita.
Now let's ask ourselves.
It is,
if it is fa ar-rabita, it has to come with a jumla shartiya. Is it coming with a jumla shartiya before?
There was before, it was above.
No, here. أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول. No, not here.
No, this is Amr. This is Amr.
Yeah, this is Amr. This is not shart. So it cannot be fa ar-rabita. Which other one do you know? Do you remember?
Istinafiya.
Isti'nafiya. What does isti'nafiya do?
It's a new jumla. It starts with a new.
That's with a new sentence. That's it. This is it. It's a new sentence. فَإِن تَوَلَّيْتُمْ. So if you, or you even don't translate it most of the time. So if you turn away, you would even see that in translation. They don't translate it. That's what fa isti'nafiya is. Obey Allah, obey the messenger. Full stop. If you turn away, you see that's a new sentence. So this becomes isti'nafiya, and that makes more sense. Maybe just for isti'nafiya, for revision purposes, the kinds of fa that we haven't mentioned, maybe it's fa al-amr, which is fi, which means fulfill. And that's it's a fi'l. It's not even it doesn't come with a harf like this. So that one doesn't apply. I think that's the only one we didn't mention. Yeah, I think the others we all mentioned. So that's kind of how you come to these conclusions. And this is how also the translators, they look at it and they're like, okay, what kind of fa is this? And therefore, how do we translate it? How do we make sense out of it? Is that clear? Okay. In.
This is in shartiya.
Yes, this is in shartiya.
Shartiya. Tawallaytum is fi'l madi. Antum zamir is the file. Tawallai,
is
tawallu, tawallaitum. So,
ماضي and
antum
حال.
zamir file.
And of course it's you can't see it's في محل جزم be in, but you can't see
Bin,
because it's ماضي.
mahlan majzoom.
Yes محل. Okay. Then you have another فاء. فإن توليتم فإنما. Now this is a bit tricky.
This should be Faza, this my sister Rabita, because it's for the Jawab shart.
That's what we expect. That's what we expect because this is shart. So we expect a jawabu shart. Shart, jawabu shart. But then let's try and understand what the sentence is saying. It's saying, فَإِن تَوَلَّيْتُمْ, if you turn away, then what? فَإِنَّمَا عَلَى رَسُولِنَا الْبَلَاغُ, then our messenger, it doesn't seem connected. It means that it feels like it's missing something. Let me give you an example. When we were doing Jumla Shartiya, we said, for example, if I said, if you go, I will come. If you go, then as a result of you going, I will come. That is Jumla Shartiya. If this happens, then this happens. That's the whole idea of Jumla Shartiya. This, then this. Yeah? So when we say, if we are saying that this part is Jawabu Shart, then this has to happen first, and then this has to happen second. So if you turn away, then the Prophet's mission is just to convey. It doesn't make sense. If you turn away, the Prophet's mission is to convey, then the Prophet's mission is to convey. It's not as a result of that. It doesn't make sense as Jawabu Shart.
Jawabu shart, yeah.
So this is not the Jawabu Shart, which means
the
Jawab is mahdhuf.
mahzoof.
The Jawab is missing, is somewhere here inside. It's mahdhuf. So this is something else. Okay? So this is why you need to know your fas and your wows and your bas and your, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. But these ones, they rarely happen. Sometimes you would see a shart with a mahdhuf. So the intention here, what they actually mean is that فَإِن تَوَلَّيْتُمْ, if you turn away, then no harm done. No harm done. It's not going to affect anybody. It's not going to affect the Prophet. Like, you think by turning away, the Prophet would be harmed by your actions. That's what they thought. But Allah is saying, if you turn away, you're not going to affect anybody. The Prophet is not going to be affected. In fact, فَإِنَّمَا عَلَى رَسُولِنَا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ, because his mission, his sole purpose is to convey the message. Now do you see how it's all coming together?
Yeah.
How the meaning comes together. And we will see the translations and you'll see how they translated. Hopefully they captured that as well. I haven't checked, but we'll see together, inshallah. So that means the jawab here is mahdhuf.
Mahzoof. You cannot blindly see fa and say it is fa. Jazaiya.
Yes. So just don't immediately go to, in Shartiya. I saw in Shartiya, so definitely this is fa rabita.
Jazaiya, no. Okay. So this will be atf now.
It can be atuf. Yeah, and it comes with the meaning of ta'lil. It's yeah, atuf, but with the meaning of ta'lil. So
ta'lil, yeah.
Ta'lil, yeah, you could say, because it comes with the meaning of because. So if you turn away, then the Prophet is not harmed by it, because the Prophet's mission is just to convey. Yeah, so the Prophet will not be disturbed by it because he is not concerned about you turning away. His mission is just to convey. So he's not going to be harmed by you turning away. It doesn't affect him if you turn away, because his mission is to just convey the message, and he has already done it, conveying the message. So that's why this fa is fa at-ta'liliya. Okay. Then we have innama.
Innama, so this is harf. Inna is mashabba bil fi'l. Ma is ma kafa, which nullifies that effect of inna on jumla ismiya.
So this basically, we can just summarize it as kafa makfufa. Kafa and makfufa. So inna would be the kafa. Ma would be, Ma al-kafa,
Inna is mushabba
and
bil
inna is makfufa.
okay.
Yeah, makfufa, like that. So basically, this is the kind of ma. When we were talking about the different kinds of ma, we said there's a ma that is ma al-kafa. It's a type of ma zaida that stops the effect of inna and her sisters and harf jar and things like that. So rubbama, innama, yeah. So this is kafa and makfufa. It stops the effect. We expect that it to have, when inna comes with an ism, we expect it to be mansub. Inna al-walada, inna al-binta, inna al-bayta, right? But with this ma, it comes and it blocks the effect of inna. So you have whatever comes after it is not affected. It's not inna al-balagha, innama al-balagha. It's not. Yeah, you can see that it stopped the effect there. So that's just in the kind of ma that is kaf and makfufa. And it's, of course, it's a harf, the kind of ma that it is. Ala rasulina.
Ala rasulina. Ala is harf jar. Rasulina is muzaf muzaf ilayh, which is majroor because of ala. So this is khabar muqaddam.
It's متعلقاني.
متعلقاني بمحذوف خبر.
Yes. Yeah, بمحذوف خبر مقدم. You're right. This is مقدم. Good. So what is al-balagh then?
This is موصوف. المبين الصفة, which is forming a مبتدا. مؤخر.
There we go. Yes, so this is a مبتدا مؤخر. And of course, al-mubin would be the sifa, or in some books you would see nat. It's written nat. I'm just going to write it here for those who might not be familiar with this. So you'd see that. Sifa or nat, pretty much the same thing. It's both, they mean descriptions. So al-balagh is a mubtada and al-mubin is the sifa to al-balagh. Okay. إنما على رسولنا البلاغ المبين. Any questions on that? Okay. Yes. I
wanted to ask you, why did the khabar come first?
على رسولنا?
Yes.
So obviously when we see something like this, then it means there's ikhtisas, there's a special meaning. Because normally when the mubtada comes after, what do we expect? When the mubtada comes after jar majroor. For example, li qalamun, I have a pen. The mubtada doesn't have al. Yeah? Normally, when you have a mubtada coming after a jar majroor like this, the mubtada should not have al. But when it has al, then there's a special meaning. That's why we say muqaddam. There's ikhtisas, there's innama ala rasulina al-balagh. Then certainly only for our prophet, like the only thing he has to do, he doesn't even have to like do anything else. Is conveying the message is the only mission that he has. That is it. It's the only thing. So these are the things that he's trying to do and following up. That's not part of his job description. Allah is telling us. Allah is telling us, look, I sent him with a mission, and the mission is to convey. Once he's done conveying, he doesn't have to beg you. He doesn't have to come knocking to your house and, cry and no, none of that. He just has to tell you this is the reality. So that's the only mission of the Prophet ﷺ. And I think we would look at that more when we look at the explanation next week of this ayah and the implications of that as well. It's a scary ayah, by the way. Yes?
It gives hasar, sister, when our khabar muqaddam happens. There is a hasar in the sentence, jumla.
Hasar?
Emphasis happens,
yes.
in that.
Yes, ikhtisas, yes, there's emphasis. That's what's happening. And it's scary because can you imagine that Allah is telling us, look, the Prophet doesn't have to do anything for you. The only thing that he has to do is to just convey the message. That is it. That's the only message. So if you turn away from that, that's your own problem. If you turn away from the message that has been conveyed, he has done his job. It's your own problem. It's your own fault. It's very scary. We'll talk about that later, inshallah. I hope that's clear.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Then we have, so Sarf here, we have only two new words.
So ta, waw, ain is the gist of it. So it is ata, iti, bab, family 4. So siga, it is amr. So antum zamir. So that's it. Sarf saghir is ati, 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 a, ati, o.
Yes. أطيع. أطيع. And then
Ati, ati, o.
أطيع. There we go. So remember, when we're dealing with this kind of irregularity, this is ajwaf. In the amr form, the weak letter disappears. Yeah, in the huwa version, you don't have ati, because the Arabs hate when you have two sukuns. So look, if I said that there was a ya here, it would have a sukun, and also we'd have to make it majzoom because it's an amr. Now you have this guy looking at you. You see those two eyes? The Arabs don't like those two eyes together like that. So they're like, okay, between ayn and ya is a weaker letter. So let's, we don't like this googly eyes looking at us. We're going to get rid of the ya. And now we have atiya. Yeah, so that's what happened. We talked about this back when we were discussing the sarf of ajwaf, that irregularity. All right. So basically, yeah. Oh, I did the sarf kabir. I did the sarf kabir there. But it's fine, you understand. So basically, if we were to do the sarf saghir, it would be, what would be the sarf saghir?
Then I think so. Ata, yuti, tati'u. From tati'u, we have to make amarna, sister. Tati'u, tati'u, ani, tati'una. So
Yeah,
from tati'una.
You can do it like that, no problem. You can make the sarf kabir, but you can just do the sarf saghir from ata'a yuti'u, like just the main one that we're familiar with.
Tuti'u, tuti'ani, tuti'una.
Yeah, that would be still the sarf kabir of now mudara. But if we just want to do what is happening? Okay, if we want to do, I'll fix the font later.
Okay, ata'a yuti'u, ata'a yuti'u, ita'atan, atan, ita'atan.
Yes. So that would be just the sarf saghir of it, and then of course you reach the sigha of amr, and then you do the sarf kabir of it. And the meaning is
obey.
Yeah.
You
obey. It's an amr. Good. This is the one. Al-mubin. Al-mubin.
Mubin. Abana yubinu. Ibana. Mubinun. Abana yubinu.
So
Hamza ba. Hamza ba. Mubin.
Which family is it?
Abana yubinu, family 4.
So if it's family 4, do we write the hamza or not? Is it part of the container, the part of the jidr, the hamza?
It's a container.
So
it should be bayanu.
Yes. Bayanun. Bayina. Bayanun.
Ji. This is ismul fa'il. Abana yubinu ibanu fahuwa mubinun. This
is fa'il because it matches with muslimun. Mubinun, that is what's supposed to be, but we just smooth it out. Mubinun.
Sarf saghir is abana yubinu.
Yubinu.
Ibanatan. فهو مبين.
Yeah, mubinun. Let's put a kasra there, because not to be confused with mubanun, which will be the ism maf'ul. Mubinun.
Sarf kabir is mubinun, mubinani, mubinuna. Mubinani, mubinuna.
There we go. So that's it. And what does it mean?
Clear notification.
Yeah.
Clear
evidence or proof. I don't know what else they like to use here. We'll see in the translation, inshallah. Yeah, but clear evidences or proofs. Mubinun, or clarifying. Huh, we'll see how they translate this. I'm curious to see how.
Clarifier, it will be not just ismul file. That
Clarifier.
is clarifier.
Yeah, clarify I think also works, but I rarely see that in translation, so I don't know how. Let me see how I translated it as well. Don't know how I did. I didn't do it. Mubin, clear. Okay, so clear. I just wrote clear. I will check on that and see which one is the best. Because ayatu mubin would be the clear evidences. So mubin would just be like clear.
Clear. Ji.
Yeah. So I don't. We'll see in translations. Clear, I think, works. Okay. Yep. So that's the end of ayah number 12, inshallah. Next week, we will do the explanation now, how it all comes together from the beginning all the way to where we are. Because remember, the Quran is such a interconnected, interwoven, beautiful fabric piece of art. So every ayah is connected to the next, to the next, to the next. So far, we've connected all the way to ayah number 9. And now we're going to add 10, 11, and 12 onto that beautiful explanation that we have done so far. Maybe I can share with you some of the explanations. Let's just see how the translators, they translated this ayat. Let me share the screen. So this is Attaghabun. And we look at number 'Why is it taking so long to load? Okay, here we go. So we have different translators here. Mustafa Khattab is normally the easiest one to read because it flows nicely, but then Abdul Halim is kind of like he sticks more to the grammar and the sarf, and then you have Sahih, he's pretty okay. So those are the ones that I normally look at most of the time. So الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, as for those who disbelieve and reject our revelations, so وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا, they will be the residents of the fire. So you see, they, another mubtada, so they actually translated the ulaika. Yeah, they didn't just overlook it. They will be the resident, and of course it adds emphasis because it's another mubtada. They will be the residents of the fire, staying there forever, staying khalidina. We said when we're translating hal, you can add ing, or you can say as or while, things like that. So staying there forever. What an evil destination. So they're translating nasir as destination, the dharf, or sometimes when we did the sarf of this, we said it's actually a masdar mimi. It's a masdar that has meme on it. So mafilun, mafalun, that's the pattern that it follows, which means a place of, which means like the idea of final destination, if you will. Yeah, final destination. And we will see that sometimes people translate Nasir as final destination. Then we have Ms. Abdul Halim, but those who disbelieved and rejected our signs will be the inhabitants of the fire. Oh, so you see Abdul Halim didn't translate the they again. So he just continued, made it khabar. So I told you there are two ways of looking at it. You can either say this is mubtada number 2. So you see Mustafa Khattab did that. But Abdul Halim just said they are, sorry, where are we? Will be. So he just went into the khabar. Will be the inhabitants of the fire. There to remain a miserable destination. So he even linked Wabi's al-Nasir to this inhabitants of the fire. So the whole thing, he looked at it as one sentence, which is interesting. This is why I like to read translation, because you see how they did it, and it gives you more insight into why they chose to do it like that. Then you have ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا بإذن الله. No calamity befalls anyone except by Allah's will. Okay. And whoever has faith in Allah, وَمَن يُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ, he will rightly guide their hearts. So يهدي قلبه through advanced. So these are just additions because it's not mentioned there in the ayah. And Allah, wallahu bikulli, has perfect knowledge. Again, you see these are additions because I'm guessing because of bikulli, which is muta'alliq, muqaddam, has perfect knowledge of all things. And Abdul Halim says misfortunes, which is musiba. So you see, he started with the fa'il because it's a jumla fi'liya. We start with the fa'il. So misfortunes can only happen with God's permission. Again, with this ma illa, we can also translate as only. Remember that template? Ma illa, we either translate nothing but, or we can translate as only. So misfortunes can only happen with God's permission. وَمَنْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ. So this is an interesting one. He will guide the heart of the one who believes. So he started with يَهْدِي قَلْبَهُ مَنْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ. That's kind of what he did there. So he will guide the heart of anyone who believes in him. God knows all things. I feel like there's something missing there. Wallahu bi kulli shay'in alim. There's emphasis there. It's not just God knows all things. No, it's God knows all things. Like there's something, you know. When you're reading the Arabic, there's a little bit of extra there. So you see how different the translations are. Let's look at the last one, and then we can end the session. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ. Obey Allah and obey the messenger. Okay, this is an amr, so command. There's that exclamation there. But I don't like that. I don't like that they did but here. Okay. So, but if you turn away, we said this is isti'nafiyya. It's a new sentence. It's not related to the previous one. So if you say but, you're kind of relating it to the previous sentence, right? So yeah, I don't like this one. So basically, I'll just remove this but and say, if you turn away, then our messenger's duty is only to deliver the message clearly. So again, you see, they just translated it. They didn't add the what is it called? The jawab that is mahdhuf, that is hidden. Let's see. Abdul Halim. Okay. So obey God and the messenger. Amr. If you turn away, see, Abdul Halim got it. Abdul Halim is like, this is a new sentence. We don't have to translate the fa. We can just leave it away. If you turn away, remember that where is he getting remember? So that's kind of like he's translating فَإِنَّمَا here, the fa, because fa at-ta'liliya. He kind of went with remember or because. And I think it's a better way of even connecting if you turn away, and our messenger's duty is only to make plain his message. So for this ayah, Abdul Halim wins for this particular one, based on the grammar and the sarf of what we just did, I guess. Yeah. So that's basically this. I find this so much fun because now I can understand how the different translators, why they chose this word, why they chose that word, you know, why they sacrificed this translation over that translation, why they chose to add stuff in it and remove other stuff in it. It kind of gives you an insight to so much, and especially after knowing what the true grammar is. Subhanallah. Isn't that amazing, guys? I find this very cool.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, and that's basically the end of ayah number 12. So I'm really looking forward to ayah number 13 because it's like one of my favorite ayats, even the explanation of it, inshallah. If there's any other questions or comments before we finally end the session, please feel free. Then we can stop here. Yes, Shabana.
I just wanted you to explain more on that innama. I don't know what word you used.
Oh, kafan makfufa.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to anwa'u ma, the different kinds of ma's. Let me just open my notes here. Anwa'u ma. Here we are. The different kinds of ma. So, there are two main categories of ma. So you have ma that are isms, and then you have ma's that are harfs. That's an important distinction to always know. Okay, so we have 4 kinds of ma that are harfs. Just remember that. It will be easier to remember 4 kinds of ma as opposed to remembering 6 kinds of ma that are ismiya. Just remember 4 are harfs, 6 are isms. And one of the ones that is harf is ma al-kafa, the ma that we are calling ma al-kafa. Okay, now let's go to what is ma al-kafa. Let's go all the way to, oh, I passed it. Ma al-zaida, ma al-kafa. Okay, so ma al-kafa, this is the kind of ma that enters into inna and her sisters. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing the screen. And I was busy talking. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna go back. So when I started, this is the table that I was showing. I hope you can see it now.
Yes.
Okay, so you have 2 categories. You have mas that are isms, and then you have mas that are harfs. So 4 kinds of mas are harf. Ma nafiya, ma masdariya, ma zaida, ma kafa. These are the harfs. Okay, and everything else is an ism. Okay, so ma kafa is one of the ma that is a harf, which means la mahalla laha min al-i'rab because it's a harf. Okay, so when we see it, we don't really focus on whether is it mubtada, is it khabar, is it maf'ul bihi. No, none of that, because it's a harf. Okay, so ma al-kafa. And if you want more information on the different kinds of ma, I've done an episode on this. It's on YouTube. You can go check it out, the full episode of different kinds of ma. But I'm just going to go through ma al-kafa. Ma al-kafa is the kind of ma that is a harf and enters into inna and her sisters, or basically harf of nasab and harf of jar, some harf of jar. Okay, so it enters into these 2 categories of hurufs, and it stops them from having any effect. So basically, ma al-kafa comes to inna and is like, listen up. I know you like to beat up on people and make them mansoob, but not on my watch. I'm not gonna allow it. Okay. So if something rafa comes, it's not gonna be mansoob. It's just gonna remain marfu'. That's what I'm gonna do. So ma is kind of like the defender against inna. So when inna wants to beat up an ism and makes it mansoob, ma is like, no, you're not gonna do that. I'm watching you. So that's kind of like what ma al-kafa is. Okay, so for example, we have innama Muhammadun Rasul. Innama Muhammadun Rasul. So you have inna, we expect inna Muhammadan. That's what we learned. That's what we expect. Inna to beat up on Muhammad, so it becomes nasab. But then this ma comes in between and says, no, that's not gonna happen. So you have Muhammadun. So that's kind of like basically what ma al-kafa is. And the harf of jar that normally comes with this kind of ma is rubba. So you have rubbama. Yeah. So that's basically the gist of ma al-kafa. What it does, it's a type of ma zaida. Some would actually call it ma zaida. You would see in some books calling it extra ma that has a job. Ma zaida amila. It actually has a job because it stops inna from doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. Did that? And of course, the term that I use is ma al-kafa wal makfufa. So the ma itself is called kafa, and the inna, the thing that it stopped, it's makfufa. The thing being stopped, because it's isim maf'ul, makfuf. So it is the thing being stopped. So inna becomes makfuf, and ma is the kafa. So kafa wa makfufa. If you open i'rab books, you would actually see kafa wa makfufa. That's what you would see, and you'd be like, what is this? I don't know this kafir that is kafa. Or I know kafa means sufficient. What is, yeah, no.
To stop.
Means to stop.
It stops.
Yeah. Kuf. When I say, yeah, basically kind of like, yeah, that's the meaning. Shabana, is that clear? Was that a bit? Okay, good.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Any other questions or any other concepts that we have covered today? I know we mentioned a few new concepts that maybe some people might not be clear on. Okay. Don't know that there is any more questions. All right. So I have done all these topics up to Na'at al-Sababi. So we've done all this. So if you want to revise any of these subjects, you can go to my YouTube channel. You'll find all this. Inshallah, after Ramadan, we continue with fi'al madi. We haven't done this, fi'al madi and mudari. But everything in the Bayna curriculum up to an-na'at as-sababi, we have done. So if you want to revise anything, you can just go and revise, inshallah. That including, we did a very detailed on amazement, Attaghabun, which we've covered today, bi'sa and ni'ma. So all this we mentioned, fi'al madh, fi'al dam, what we mentioned here. So we covered a detailed session and examples as well. So if you want to check that out, you can feel free, please. Okay, I think we can end there. We're good on time, alhamdulillah, today. Next week, we look at the explanations of this ayah, which is exciting me so much. That's the part I look forward to the most, how the grammar and the sarf, they all come together and they form this beautiful tapestry that just connects, and you see the message of Allah. And I can't wait for us to reach the last ayah, because the last ayah is just mind-blowing. I haven't done it, but I just imagine that it's going to be amazing, inshallah. All right. Okay. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا.
إياكم. جزاكم الله.
جزاك الله خيرا. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.